Alright guys, a new week and we are back for some more Championship transfer rumours. Plenty to get stuck into today, plenty more done deals gone through and some massive rumours going around the Championship right now. As always, I want to hear from you in the comments down below. And the other rumours that you've seen going around the league, make sure to let me know in the comments down below. But without any further ado, let's hop in. And it all looks as if Leeds have finally landed on Daniel Farke as their new manager. As of recording, there's been no official announcement, but he is expected to be named as the next Leeds boss. Honestly, I think this is a good move for Leeds where the club's at right now. Farke's expertise in the Championship, the sort of football he's had Norwich playing previously at this level as well. I think that's a partnership to be excited about for Leeds fans. Interesting one, we saw Hull complete a loan deal for Manchester City striker Liam Delap. Now he really struggled while out on loan in the Championship last season, both with Stoke and Preston. While at Preston, we certainly saw glimpses of a player there, and I still think the potential's there despite two pretty rough loan spells last time. I don't think he was necessarily a great fit into the North End system. There were times when he was shoved out wide which just didn't suit his game at all, and it seemed like he'd taken a bit of a knock in confidence after missing a few chances and nothing seemed to be falling for him. So I rate Rossini as a coach, and he's clearly got young players playing well in the past. You know, his experiences from having a very young side at Derby previously and how he's worked with some of the youngsters at Hull already. But it feels like this has to be a big season for Delap after some struggles last year. It's a now or never moment for him. Grant Hall put pen to paper on a permanent deal with Rotherham United. We saw him on loan there last season, and a good pickup I'd say for the Millers. 31-year-old adds experience and already knows the playing squad there. We saw Leicester complete a deal for Harry Winks. We spoke about this one last time, but it has since been confirmed for a reported fee of £10 million. Now, Winks has had some tough times recently with injury. Obviously had a loan spell last season with Sampdoria, which was largely hampered by injury in the first half of that season. But let's not get it twisted. This is a player who's played over 100 matches in the Premier League, over 200 appearances for Spurs in total, 27 years old, and technically I think is probably a level above the Championship and could absolutely walk it at this level. If he does manage to stay fit, I think he will be a very good signing for Leicester, albeit it is a lot of money. And we also saw Leicester completing a deal for Conor Coady. Now, Leicester were one of the worst defensive units in the Premier League last season. I think it was absolutely vital that they brought in some experience, and getting a player like Coady, who I still think is Premier League quality, I think this one really boosts Leicester and their chances of bouncing straight back up to the Premier League next season. Once again, it's not cheap, £7.5 million the reported fee in this one, but they've just got plenty of money coming in from the Maddison sale, and someone like Coady I expect to be very good at Championship level. Rotherham have added to their goalkeeper ranks, signing Dylan Phillips on a free transfer. The goalkeeper, who was recently released by Cardiff, he spent last season out on loan in Belgium. I think that's a decent addition there for Rotherham to bolster up their squad. Swansea City confirmed a deal for Josh Ginnelly. We touched on this one in last time's video as well, but it has since been confirmed. Comes over on a free transfer after a really good season with Hearts up in Scotland. 13 goals in all competitions, can play as a wide man or as a centre forward. And from a personal note, I really hope it works out for Ginnelly. Didn't have the best of times with North End last time when he was in England, didn't really get that many first team opportunities, but has since improved as a player and will give that Swansea side a little bit more pace and trickery. Domingos Quina has left Watford to join Udinese on a permanent basis, and Mario Gaspar will leave the club after having his contract terminated by mutual consent. Millwall did secure up that deal for Joe Bryan. We spoke about that one in the last transfer rumour roundup video and how close it was. Well, that one has since gone through. Really good bit of business there by Millwall. I have to say, a few Championship clubs were sniffing around the Fulham defender, but on a free transfer, I think that one ticks a lot of boxes. Some more experience coming into that back line, and definitely a more than capable player at Championship level. And then we have Birmingham signing Ethan Laird on a permanent basis. Really underrated bit of business this by Birmingham. At the price they paid, less than £1 million, I would have expected quite a few Championship clubs to have been in the market for Laird, but Birmingham have been going about their business quite well so far, it has to be said. Laird, I thought, started out really well on loan at QPR last season, but just faded as the season went on, like a lot of that QPR squad really, but in the right environment, I think capable of being a brilliantly creative attacking fullback, which is just what Birmingham are in need of. But guys, there we have it. Those are some of the done deals which have gone through in the Championship over the past few days. Now, without any further ado, let's hop in some transfer rumours. Daniel Bagman reportedly attracting interest from 3 unnamed Championship clubs. That's according to Alan Nixon. Now, this is an interesting one. You'd think that Watford would have a keeper lined up if they were willing to let Bagman go. I think in terms of Ishmael's play style, it would maybe make sense to get a new keeper in, as he plays with this quite aggressively high line, likes to have a sweeper keeper, and Bachmann, while I think he's a very good shot stopper, isn't quite that sweeper keeper type. So we'll wait and see who the three clubs are that are interested. I'm sure more will come out on this story over the next few weeks. Only got a year to run on his contract at Watford, and so could be available for a cut price. We spoke a lot about the interest Burnley hold in Sunderland winger Jack Clarke. Well, Brentford are also said to be stepping up their interest in the Sunderland winger. Burnley have already lodged around 3 bids for Clarke, with the latest believed to be around that 9 million mark, and what could drive up the price tag for the winger is a potential bidding war between several Premier League clubs, along with Brentford. Crystal Palace are also said to hold an interest. Obviously, the ideal situation is Sunderland keep hold of their player, and they're certainly in no need to go ahead and sell, but if the figures do start to get towards Sunderland's valuation, which we expect to be around that 15 million heading up to 20 million price tag, then they could be tempted to cash in. We spoke last time about Middlesbrough's interest in Manchester City goalkeeper James Trafford. Well, it now appears he's on his way to Burnley, as a fee of £15 million has been agreed between Burnley and Manchester City. That fee could rise up to 19 million with add-ons. Now, like Man City do with a lot of their deals when they sell their youngsters, they have included a buyback option in this deal. And I mean, Trafford was exceptional for Bolton last season, and I think thoroughly deserves this move. What I'm most interested in is where this leaves Muric. Will he potentially be made available? Peacock Farrell as well, and what that means for his future at Burnley. This could have quite the domino effect that a few Championship clubs could look to take advantage of. Speaking of goalkeepers, Carl Darlow is in high demand right now. We've already spoken about Middlesbrough and Hull's interest in him. Well, 2 more clubs have entered the race to sign the Newcastle goalkeeper, with both Leeds and Bournemouth now interested in the shot stopper. Thought he did really well while out on loan at Hull in the second half of last season whenever he's featured in the Championship previously. I've always held quite a high opinion of him. He is contracted with Newcastle until 2025, but is available for a move this summer. Now, we've already seen Birmingham make several ambitious moves in the transfer market so far, and they're now being linked with a loan move for Manchester United's Anthony Elanga. This is a player who made 26 appearances across all competitions for United last season, and right now his future at Old Trafford is up in the air. Now, this one would be highly ambitious for Birmingham. We've seen them have a good connection with United in the past, though. Last season they had Hannibal on loan. We've recently seen them pick up Ethan Laird on a permanent basis. We saw them sign Chong in the previous transfer window as well. So clearly there is that working relationship between Birmingham and Man United. What seems to be a stumbling block in this deal, though, would be Elanga's potential wages and the fact that other clubs are said to be interested, and United are weighing up selling him on a permanent basis. And if that was to be the case, there does seem to be a bit of interest from around Europe who would be ahead of Birmingham in the queue to take him. Perhaps a more realistic deal for Birmingham would be for Man United youngster Will Fish. They're also said to be interested in him on a loan deal. He spent last season out on loan with Hibernian in the Scottish Premiership, and this would be the next stage in his development. And suddenly it looks like my team Preston North End could be getting active in the transfer market. We're now being linked with a move for French under-21 international Yasser Larouci. Now, he's currently playing his football for Troyes in France. They were recently relegated from Ligue 1. And a few links to this one make sense. He came up through the Liverpool Youth Academy, and we have had quite a few links to Liverpool and their players, especially since Ryan Lowe's been in at the club. He appeared in 30 Ligue 1 matches last season, with 21 of those being starts. A lot of his games were as a left wing back, which is where he'd be playing for Preston next season if he was to sign. I think this one would also signal that we're probably not going to get Alvaro Fernandez back for next season either, as we'd then have Larouci and Robbie Brady to fill that role on the left-hand side. Mads Frøyker Jensen is also being linked with a move to Preston at the moment. We're looking to replace Daniel Johnson, who of course has left, and looking to add a little bit more creativity into our midfield. And we have gone into the Danish League before to scout for some talent. Obviously picked up Emil Rees from the Danish League a few years ago. Now, Jensen certainly would add that goal scoring ability for our midfield. Scored 8 goals across all comps last season, while providing 3 assists as well. He's only 23 years old at that age profile where he can still go ahead and develop and improve, and is the sort of player that I'd definitely be interested in signing from a Preston point of view. Looks as if Swansea have got a deal in place for Josh Key, who's understood to be doing his medical with the club as things speak. Now, he is available on a free transfer, but due to his age, a compensation package would be due to Exeter, and as of recording right now, it does seem as if that compensation package has been agreed. We spoke previously about Key and the other Championship clubs that were interested, but it seems as if Swansea have won the race for the defender. defender. Luton are continuing to be linked with the move for Birmingham's Tahith Chong, but as the latest reports understand, Blues are in no need to sell right now, and they won't go ahead and sell unless a sizable profit can be made. Birmingham understood to have paid around 1.5 million to Man United last summer for the services of Chong, so it'll be interesting to see how much they value him at now after a solid season in the Championship last year. Wolves are said to be interested in a move for Southampton forward Che Adams. It'll be interesting to see how much they currently value him at. I think he's only got 1 year remaining on his contract, with his current deal with Southampton set to expire in 2024. Generally speaking, he has had a decent strike rate for the Saints since signing for them in 2019, 31 goals and 145 appearances. At Championship level, the guy is capable of being absolutely prolific. Last time in the Championship for Birmingham, he scored 22 goals, and that obviously got him his move to Southampton, but given his current contract status, I wouldn't be surprised if Southampton do cash in. We've even got Fabrizio Romano reporting on the Victor Gyökeres deal. He's reported that a deal between Coventry and Sporting is getting closer, and the bid has since been improved since we last discussed the Gyökeres deal. And as things stand, the deal could be concluded later this week, which I think will be good news for Coventry fans. I'm still amazed that Gyökeres hasn't had any suitable offers coming in from the Premier League, and that his likely destination is going to be Sporting. But I think from a Coventry perspective, the sooner this deal is concluded, the better, really. Leicester City are said to be interested in a move for Manchester City defender Callum Doyle. Now, we expected Maresca to use his Manchester City connections, and that appears to be happening right now. Doyle's progression through the leagues has been clear to see. He had a brilliant loan spell with Sunderland in League One, and then last season had a fabulous spell with Coventry in the Championship. Featured in 44 Championship matches, and considering he's still just 19 years old, he's got plenty of first team experience already under his belt. Leicester are said to be exploring a permanent deal with Man City for the defender, with him said to be valued between 7 and 10 million. Manchester City would be expected to include a buyback clause in his contract, as they have done when they've sold other youngsters over the past few years, but a potential, partnership at the back between Doyle and Cody, I think he's looking very promising for Leicester if they did get that deal over the line. Blackburn Rovers have been linked with a move for Sunderland's Danny Batth, who would bring some more experience to that Rovers back line, perhaps someone similarly in the mould to someone like Daniel Ayala, who's obviously left the club recently. Now, Sunderland are said to be weighing up a few exits from their club, with the likes of Danny Batth, Alex Pritchard and Lyndon Gooch all potentially available for a move this summer, as it doesn't seem any of their contracts will be renewed beyond next summer, and so we could see a few rumours starting to pop up around those stars as well. Plenty of sides are said to be interested in Leeds' Wilfred Gnonto. We spoke about him a little bit on a previous video, but the likes of Everton, Aston Villa and Freiburg are all said to be monitoring the situation with the Leeds wide man. I'd love to see him in the Championship next season. Think he's got the potential to absolutely rip it up at this level, but if a suitable offer was to come in, I think Leeds would be tempted. Rotherham are said to be in talks with Billy Sharp over a potential move. Now, the Championship all-time top goal scorer is available on a free transfer upon his contract at Sheffield United expiring. Sharp himself is said to be weighing up his options right now. It looks as if we could see Josh Madger back in the Championship next season upon his contract expiring. He is now a free agent, and as the latest reports have suggested, he would prefer a move back to England this summer after a few years in France. Would you take Madger at your club next season on a free? And we've also been given a little bit of an update on the Aaron Ramsey situation, as Cardiff have held talks with the former Arsenal and Juventus midfielder. Now, Cardiff are in a little bit of a sticky situation at the moment with the transfer embargo, which means they're not allowed to pay a transfer fee for any player they sign, but as Ramsey is available on a free transfer, they are free to discuss terms with him. Now, the Welsh club aren't alone in their interest of Ramsey. There are said to be other unnamed clubs that are interested as things stand, but talks have already happened, and that surely will be a boost to Cardiff fans who are hopeful of getting Ramsey back. But guys, there we have it. That will now wrap it up for today's video. Thank you very much for tuning in. If you did go and enjoy, make sure to leave a like and do stick around and subscribe for some regular Championship content. Apart from that, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.